Coaches Show is brought to you by Chris Lindahl Real Estate and by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Minnesota. With Lindsay Whalen and Ben Johnson. Now, it's the Gopher Coaches Show.
And welcome into the Gopher Coaches Show. I'm Pierre Nugent, joined as always by K-Fans Justin Gard on Zoom today. And with us today is men's basketball coach Ben Johnson. Ben, good to be with you again. It's been a tough stretch of games for your group. What are you and the coaching staff doing to try to keep these guys upbeat and positive?
Yeah, good to see you guys. We're doing our same routine. I think our guys obviously were disappointed in the last couple of games and in the outcome of that, but I think the positive note is when we play the right way and we stick to our system, that we're going to be in games in the very end. And so now it's our job to figure out a way to close and turn these tough losses into big wins.
We're certainly going to talk about the comeback against Iowa, Ben, and the game against Michigan State too. But in that first half, as you're shorthanded and you're trying to figure out who's going where and who's playing with whom, I thought Iowa's defense, pressuring you full court, really made you pause a little bit. So what was the difficulties about that, and how did you work through it?
Yeah, we knew just through scouting and then them obviously knowing that we're limited with our personnel that game, that they were probably going to crank up the pressure. They're a team that does three-quarter court press. They got a couple of them, and that's kind of what they do to speed up tempo and speed up the game. So we kind of figured that going in. That was going to be something that we're going to face, and then we knew in the half court, again, to kind of wear our guys down and to pick up the pace, that there were going to be some denials. They're going to get out on the floor and look to take some stuff away. So I thought our guys, for the most part, did a good job of trying to run offense. The one thing that is hard against a team that does that is, it's very hard to stick with your sets. You got to keep things simple, and whether that's a ball screen, a double ball screen, guys are going to have to be able to be comfortable making plays when a team is that far stretched out and that much in denial. And again, I think our guys in that second half did a good job of staying with our offense and with our game plan and getting to the rim and being the aggressor and making the right play when the right play needed to be made.
Ben, as Justin just mentioned, you were shorthanded against Iowa, but one guy that really stepped up for your team was E.J. Stevens, who poured in a team-high 22 points, 15 of those coming in the second half. Ben, it looked like Stevens really put this team on his back in that second frame. What did you like from his game during those, especially those last 20 minutes in the second half?
Yeah, I think E.J.'s done a really good job the last three games, honestly, of just his mindset, being aggressive, living downhill, not just settling for threes, but getting to his spots in the mid-range, attacking off the drive, getting to the rim. EJ's got a knack for scoring, and he's got a burst and some juice to him. And he's a guy that, now is kind of figuring out offensively, all right, here's how I can get some looks. And I'm thankful because, we need that from him. He's a guy, as you can tell, you don't have to necessarily call plays for him. He can score within our motion and our flow. So I'm happy for him. But again, I think it was just more of a mindset thing that he just needed to flip and become more aggressive. And hopefully that trickles down to some other guys and it becomes a contagious look for us.
Life in the Big Ten, Ben, means you're going to be going up against studs pretty much game in and game out. A couple of weeks ago when we talked, it was Kofi Cockburn for Illinois. This week it's Keegan Murray. It's an unbelievable effort for him, inside, outside, a huge three late when you guys were making a run, when really it was a bad offensive set for Iowa and he bailed him out. So what are the difficulties in guarding a guy like that? What makes him so dangerous?
It's just is that you can guard a player in action perfectly, but great players find a way to make it work even when it doesn't work. And that's what he did. That three was obviously big, but that's why they're great players, is you got to be able to guard them within their action. And then also when they go to break a play, you got to try to force a miss. And, he was a special player. There's a reason why, he's leading the league in scoring. He's up there in the country still. He's so versatile, and he just can score at all three levels, from three in the mid-range and in the post. And so it's challenging. This league feels like every team's got somebody. that puts a lot of pressure on your defense, and he's definitely one of the top guys.
Yeah, certainly no doubt about that. And Ben, last week against Michigan State, you lost one of your key pieces as Eric Curry left the game with an ankle injury. What is the latest on his status?
Eric's doing really good. He's day-to-day. Thankfully, there was nothing structurally wrong. There was no breaks. There was no tears. So now it's just going to, continue to go through the rehab process, continue to rest it as much as he can. And then hopefully, whether it's Wednesday or Saturday, he's able to get back on the court, because I know Eric, it's killing him to sit out. And, each day that goes by, I know he's just hoping that it's a day that he feels better and better, which he has. So, continue to do his rehab, and we'll see what today looks like, and we'll see what it looks like then for Wednesday.
When it comes to Michigan State, a place that no one really goes in and wins very often, since, Magic Johnson got there in like 1978, it's a tough place to play, Breslin Center. But you go in there and fight them to the end. It's a buzzer-beating shot on kind of a broken play there. So what do you take from that game that can propel you all moving forward? Because from my vantage point, Ben, it was just an unbelievable effort.
You take a lot. I think when you're in the building stages of a program, and you're trying to really elevate in all levels, being able to prove to the younger guys, being able to prove to recruits, being able to prove to, your fan base, that the system and the style of play is going to work. And, there's going to be things that we always will stand for in this program, and fighting and playing all 40 minutes is definitely one of them, regardless of situation, circumstance, at home, on the road, with the lead, having to claw back. That we're gonna battle, and I think our guys gain confidence from knowing that, okay, this is a top 10 team in the country that you went toe to toe with on the road after a tough game versus an Indiana team. So being able to have that mental and physical toughness to stick with it and put yourself in position to win. I think that's the key. Is in the last 4 minutes, do you have an opportunity? Have you done enough on both sides of the ball to give yourself a chance to win? And now we just got to get over that last final hump and get back to our winning ways.
We mentioned E.J. Stevens a moment ago, but another guy who had a great game for you against Iowa was Jameson Battle, 20 points, 8 rebounds. How has he continued to grow as a player this season?
Yeah, Jameson just, he keeps getting better, and his work ethic is unparalleled. I mean, the guy puts a ton of time in. He keeps it simple. He understands who he is. He has a lot of pride in winning, and I think that's huge. He wants to make winning plays, and so we need JMO to continue to be aggressive, continue to kind of do what he does. Again, a guy that can shoot from three, that can score in the post, and I think defensively, he's done a good job of just having a presence and playing with force. But we're going to need all hands on deck, especially until we get everybody back healthy. We're going to need all hands on deck, and he's obviously a huge part of that.
We knew going into the season, just because of personnel, that size was going to be an issue, which probably means rebounding is going to be an issue. Now with Eric down and a couple others down as well, rebounding is going to continue to be something I imagine you focus on. So how have you been able to navigate those, size disadvantages that you have? And now with Eric out, how much more important is it to find a way to get those rebounds?
Yeah, it's important. Obviously, we're a team that doesn't crash the offensive glass a ton. That's no secret. Our biggest rebounding advantage that we got to make sure we're always locked in on is the defensive rebound. We got to have all five guys got to be able to put a body on a body, and we got to be able to make sure or try to limit teams to one and done. And so that'll continue to be a point of emphasis. Obviously, when you're in league, you got bigger bodies, you got better athletes, you got guys that really attack the offensive glass. So we just got to make sure that we're up to the physical challenge. We got to be a physical team in that manner, in that sense. And I think if we do that, I think we can control the defensive backboards. That definitely helps not only our offense, but it helps not wear down our defense. I think anytime a team can live on the offensive glass, it's just it's demoralizing a little bit. It's deflating. And so, for winning basketball, that's something that every single game is up on our board as one of the keys to victory.
Is that one of those situations, Ben, where it's just more of is it a team effort on the glass instead of pointing to one individual or another, say, hey, maybe you need to pick us up a little bit here? It sounds like it's more of a team effort when it comes to rebounding the basketball, right?
Yeah, for us, it's definitely a team effort. Obviously each guy, if they individually can win their battle, is huge. You know, we tell out to our point guards that they need to be the guys, you know, really getting their nose in there, because more times than not, you know, on any team, they're not going to crash off 5 guys. You know, somebody's going to get back, and it's normally the point guard. So whether it's Peyton, Luke, EJ, whoever it is, you know, being able to get those 50-50 rebounds, being able to sniff out those long rebounds, or sticking your nose in there and getting something at the rim, you know, those are huge points of emphasis. But everybody's got to kind of win their one-on-one battle, and we got to rebound down. It's definitely a collective effort.
We've talked a lot this year, Ben, about how helpful it is to have experienced guys that have been through it. So when you go through a stretch where you're 1-5 in league play, you played some great games down to the wire and haven't been able to get over that hump, as you talked about. How much do you lean on in Eric Curry, whose freshman year started slow, 2-4 in the Big Ten, and they rattled off an undefeated February? Or Peyton Willis, that's also been through kind of the ups and downs of Big Ten play, because I think a younger team could maybe be beaten down by these close losses.
Yeah, those guys know that there's a process, and those guys are great because they know in this league there's going to be multiple teams that go through a 2 or 3 game losing streak. And that doesn't mean you're out of it. That doesn't mean that, you know, you can't be competitive, you can't bounce back. That's just the nature of the beast. You look at the Big Ten with the level of coaching and talent and teams, you know, it's hard to win any game. So those guys do a good job of just keeping our spirits high, the guys that haven't been through it. And they can attest for the challenges of the Big Ten. But I think at the same time, when you flip it and you're able to get that one win, that can snowball the other way. And all of a sudden now you're looking at 2 or 3 in a row.
No doubt about it. And Ben, we're going to be talking more about the upcoming competition in the Big Ten here. More to come on the Gopher Coaches Show with Ben Johnson. When we come back, we'll look ahead to Wednesday's showdown with Penn State. That's next.
Welcome back to the Gopher Coaches Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Ben Johnson joining us today. And Ben, let's look ahead to Wednesday's matchup with Penn State, a team that's had its ups and downs this season. But what's it going to take to come up with a win on the road?
Yeah, it's going to take a collective team effort like it always does. You know, Penn State presents a different challenge than we had last game versus Iowa. You know, Micah Shrewsbury's done a great job of putting that roster together. Their style of play, he's got a little bit of NBA flavor to him. You know, a little bit similar to us in terms of kind of a free-flowing, read-oriented motion type offense that has multiple guys that can score, multiple guys that can attack. They got a big kid that returned, Harar, who's really good and has a good low post presence. So it's going to be a tough challenge. And again, going on the road is never easy. And so we're going to have to make sure we have a good couple of days of prep and ready to go in there with the right mindset to get a huge road win.
Well, I wanted to ask you about John Harar, who you mentioned averages a double-double. He and Kofi Coburn, the only 2 in the Big Ten that are doing that currently. So what are the specific challenges with him, and how often does his name come up here for you guys the next couple of days?
Yeah, no, it'll come up a ton. You know, he's a really good low post presence for those guys. You know, a veteran player, just strong physical body, makes aggressive plays at the rim. He's mobile. He can get from A to B, and he's also skilled enough where they can play with him or play through him at the elbows. You know, he can DHO. He can make passes. He can make reads. So, you know, there's a reason he's getting a double-double, and it's not by chance. I mean, he's a very talented piece to their puzzle and a really good player that we're going to have to make sure we do a great job on.
Jalen Pickett and Sam Sessoms averaged 25 points between the 2 of them. Sessoms shooting 50% and 46% from beyond the arc. When you mix in Seth Lundy, this is a tough trio to guard, isn't it?
Yeah, no, they're a talented crew. They have a lot of weapons offensively, and Micah does a good job of putting those guys in position to be successful. You know, they got guards that can not only get it within their offense, but can break a play and score buckets on their own. So that's always challenging when you got guys that are talented enough to create space and be successful in a one-on-one type of situation. So we're going to have our hands full on the perimeter. It's a good team that has had success. You know, they've got 3 wins in the Big Ten right now, and so they know what it is, and they can feel it. And I think they're going to be just as hungry as we are to get back to winning ways.
We joked on the radio show, Ben, this week that you hadn't practiced your zone defense, and I think you told me about a month and a half before you unveiled it against Iowa, because you had to, right, because of personnel and who you have in and out of the game. So as you've tried to navigate this week with the COVID issues in the program, like, what will you tinker with defensively? Will you wing it? Will you come up with something on the plane defensively that you like and just throw it in against Penn State on Wednesday?
You never know. You kind of got to be the art of the surprise, right? I think defensively we're a team that we're going to have to do stuff that's different. Whether that's how we post double, whether that's different zones we use, whether that's a little press that we use, sideline, trap. We're going to be a team that's going to constantly try to evolve and build our defense, and maybe try to, for a possession or two, create something that forces the offense to think or to get stalled or to not flow as free, get them off rhythm. So we'll always look to that. We work on it a lot during practice. Probably going to have to get back to working on our zone a little bit more since it was good for us and our guys believe in it. But that'll be something that as the year goes on, we're always looking to kind of tweak and develop from our defensive scheme.
Ben, I want to take you back to Sunday's game against Iowa really quick. In the second half, when you guys were down big and were able to mount a near-completed comeback, what was the conversation like on the bench with the players? Could they just sense the excitement in the crowd when you guys cut it to 3?
Yeah, no, they did. The players were great. I mean, I think the reason we got to that point is because they have a no-quit mindset. I know we talk all the time about we bend, but we never break. And they truly knew that at some point in the second half, we were going to have a window to make a run that would allow us to get back into the game. And because of that belief, it didn't come as a surprise. But they also knew when you get that window, you got to be able to convert. And they were able to do that. And I think our guys just for 40 minutes had the right mentality and was able to capitalize on it. And we stayed connected. We just got to do a little bit better job of, at the very end, finding a way to win it.
We've talked about not having players against Iowa and how you've had to accommodate for that. You're also down 2 assistant coaches. And I know you've got a lot of assistant coaches. It's 2022. So there's GAs and there's video coordinators and there's people helping out. But how have you kind of shifted responsibilities down a couple of coaches this week?
Yeah, we've been able to kind of add some responsibilities to some guys on staff. Our video coordinators do a great job every opponent, every game with their opponent scouting. And so we're able to elevate, Josh Adell and have a little bit more input. Ryan Livingston is able to have a little bit more input now that we're down 2 full-time guys. So that's been a help. But honestly, it's kind of, business as usual. You just kind of pick up the pieces where Coach Kemp and Coach Thorson left off, and you just kind of try to push forward. And I think at the end of the day, it's about the players, and you're just trying to figure out, all right, how do we keep them focused and not distracted? How do we relay the right information that they're going to need on Wednesday to be successful versus Penn State, and be able to prepare those guys in a way that's going to help our team win.
All right, stick around, everybody. More to come on the Gopher Coaches Show. When we come back, we'll get Ben's thoughts on coaching against some of the coaching legends in the Big Ten. That's next.
The Gopher Coaches Show.
Welcome back to the Gopher Coaches Show. Time now to spotlight a player fans may not know a ton about, but might want to know a little bit more about. Ben, Charlie Daniels was a busy man on Sunday, had his hand in just about every statistical category. What's expected of him, and how do you think he's done when given the opportunity for more minutes?
Charlie's done a great job all year. He came here late, so he didn't really have a summer with us, so was a little late just to picking up things that some of the guys had worked on with our player development and with our offensive and defensive packages. But, Charlie's a quick learner. He brings it every single day. You never have to doubt his ethic, his work ethic. You never have to doubt his competitive fire. And I think you've seen improvement. We've asked him to do stuff that has never been asked of him in previous years of playing. So it's all new and it's all fresh. And, I think he's a guy that, like I said, he's able to grow his game and help us win because he's a warrior. So we're going to look for him just to kind of continue to be solid, to give us great minutes off the bench, to be an enforcer, to lead with his defense and be really solid and steady offensively.
You mentioned earlier Micah Shrewsbury at Penn State has brought kind of an NBA style to State College. And a lot of that has to do with what they're doing after timeouts. NBA guys, because they have so much time, I would imagine, spend a lot of time in the after timeout situations, and they're always drawing things up. So I'm curious, what's your approach been, in the out of timeout situations as a head coach? You guys have had a lot of success in that area as well. Is it about calling the right plays? Is it about settling guys down? Is it a timeout by timeout basis kind of thing?
Yeah, no, we have. Our guys do a great job of paying attention. A lot of times in timeouts, you try to dial something up new, maybe that we call a draw up. Maybe that you saw that's a wrinkle from the first half that you could take advantage to in the second half. Something that maybe they can't just theme up or know through scouting that's new. And our guys do a great job of paying attention to what we got going on in those timeouts, and they were able to carry it over into the game. So we try to keep it simple, but you definitely try to pull something out that's new and unique that is a surprise that they wouldn't know through scouting, that you thought of the week leading up into the game as kind of prep work, and thankfully we've been able to get guys going and get able to steal some baskets that way.
Ben, we got about 30 seconds left here, but real quickly, Tom Izzo, Fran McCaffrey, those type of names in the Big Ten. When you first got the job at Minnesota, did you hear anything from them, any kind of words of encouragement from them? What were your conversations like when you joined the conference?
Yeah, no, definitely. This league has been great, top down, honestly, with the older guys reaching out and always telling me that if I ever need anything, that there'll be that sounding board. Guys like Coach Izzo, who I've had a previous relationship with, Coach Painter, who I've known forever. Those guys especially have been great with me. I think at the end of the day, coaches in this league, they just want the league to have good teams and the league to develop, talent, whether that's in teams, with players, with coaches. They want good basketball. And, being a younger guy coming up, I think those older guys, they just want to continue to grow the game. And so they've been great, and they've passed down a lot of their knowledge to me, and they've been able to pick up the phone and answer the questions that I've had. So I look forward to always talking to those guys and learning and growing myself.
Our thanks to Ben. Our thanks to Justin. We'll see you guys next week on the Gopher Coaches Show.